Hello everybody, my name is Ian Kirkpatrick. I'm an author and robot, and today we're going to do sort of a quick demo of how to quickly format your book for print going by 5 by 8 dimensions. And so I'm going to do how I basically set up my books using Microsoft Word, and you can use any word processor to do it this way. There's like OpenOffice, Libra, a bunch of freestyle programs, but I typically do all of my book formatting inside of Microsoft Word, and then for EPUB, I drop those words, documents into Calibre and do any final touches for ebook over there. So I'll show you briefly Calibre, I think, but we'll get into the nitty gritty of that once we get to that point. But before we get started, just a couple of things. Number one, if you enjoy what I do on this channel, please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, let me know if there are any topics that you would be interested in me showing, and if I feel like I can actually do them, I will do my best to give you the information that I have. Creativity, writing, marketing writing, and talking about all of this stuff is all a very individualistic process. It's all individualistic for how to reach people or to build an audience or to just, work through your book. So the best that we can do is share information and share ideas and, and share experiences and see where we all go. So let me know if there's anything that I can help you guys out with down in the comments. Number two, if you'd like to be featured on this channel, check out the 2 links in the description below. Lemoy is a monthly prompt contest, and Fresh Meat feature is if you've got a book, submit your first chapter and cover, and I will read it on this channel. No comments, just to help you as the author possibly find other readers, or if you're a writer that also reads, maybe you'll find a new favorite book among all of these great indies. So there's that. Number 3, if you're interested in getting a copy of my new satirical novel, Boom Boom Boom, there are ARCs now available through NetGalley, linked in the description below. I think the cover is super fun, and I think that's everything. So I'm gonna basically show you what my process is here. It makes everything super easy. Now, before I start formatting this for print, and it's gonna be, like I said, a 5 by 8 because I just like that paperback size. If you look at the document right now, you'll see that it's double spaced, indent half an inch. This is the header is about 1/3 of the way down the page. Now, this is how most submission processes want your book to look. If you're going for an agent or if you're submitting to a contest, something that is unpublished, when they ask for a generic manuscript style, they mean this Times New Roman 12-point font, double spaced, first line indent format styling. I also apparently have this set to have it justified, which you don't have to have your thing justified, but I've just gotten so used to watching Justified. To looking at Justified. So to get this started, I'm going to change all of the pages to be the correct size because we can't really format this for the correct print if the page sizes aren't correct. As you can see, these are 8.5 by 11 print size. Okay, so we're going to go to the top of the document. I'm doing Control-Shift-End. If you're on a Mac, it's going to be whatever it takes to highlight everything. But as you can see, the entire book is now highlighted. And so that means if there are any mixed sections in here, all of them are going to be changed, because if you have section breaks and you only, select the current page you're on, your changes will not be made to the entirety of the document. So the first thing we're going to do is under Layouts, click this little arrow at the bottom corner of Page Setup, which will pop open the Page Setup layout. We're going to go to Paper and change width to 5, height to 8, so that'll give us our 5 by 8. Yeah. That'll give us our 5 by 8. And then we're going to do margins are going to be 0.76, 0.76, 0.76. And then on the outside, it will be 0.7. With the gutter, it'll be 0.14 inch. And then under pages, where it says multiple pages, from the drop down, we're going to select mirror margins, because this means that if it's on the left page, the gutter will be on the inside. And if it's on the right page, the gutter will be on the opposite side, which will also be the inside. So then we'll hit OK, and it'll reformat. Now you can see our pages are much smaller, but we've still got the double-spaced size 12 font. So depending on what genre you're writing, there are different recommendations for interior font choice. I typically use Garamond. Garamond is often recommended for mystery, thriller, gritty items. And so I've been using it with everything still highlighted. Then you just, in your font section, you'll say Garamond, which will be under home and font. I just have it in my bar here. Then under size, I think I normally do size 11 for this style paper. Then we're going to make sure there is no line spacing, which those are end of paragraph spacing. Those are going to be right here. If you look under paragraph and you click the arrow, it'll say spacing. I just have them in my hotbar because I use them enough. And then we're going to go to line spacing and turn that to single space so that there's no more room. Yeah. And then click it. And then again, it's going to collapse everything. Once it goes through it all, it'll take a second. And while it does that, how are you doing today? Has it been a decent all right? Okay, there it goes. Sometimes Word takes a bit to fix itself. So now that everything is correct size, I want to fix the indentation because this indentation is kind of excessive for what we're trying to do. So I'm going to take, you see the ruler here at the very top, right above the page? I'm going to take that from its 1/2 inch, and I typically bring it to whatever this is. Yeah, about 20, a point 20. This is another place that you can apply that first line indent if you select everything and then go to paragraphs, indent, spacing, do special first line, and then just insert it there. And then you've got it. If you don't like how that looks, then you can change it up some more. But so typically with fiction, your first paragraph is not going to be indented, and then every time you have a paragraph break or a section break, you're not going to have indentation. So now what I've got to do, I've got 2 major things that I need to do right now, which is identify the headers, the chapters, and then set up the first paragraph. So I'll do those at the same time since the chapter change and the paragraph are going to be at the same time. So first, I'm going to take this first paragraph, take the ruler over, and the super easy way to make this happen, so you can just do it repeatedly with a template, is once you've created this, you can actually create a style specifically matching this. So, and then update the styles to match it. To do this is you would click the arrow and then do create a new style. And from here, you can just name it whatever you want. And once you hit enter, it'll pop up in this list. I've already created no spacing. So you don't even technically have to organize like how you want that style to look yet, because once you have it in this list, you can just highlight the paragraph and then right click on it and say update the style to match current selection. And so you can just create this selection to look however you want it to look and then immediately match it to this header. So the same thing I actually did with my chapters is I took heading 1 and I made it look how I wanted it to look, and then I just said match this. So the other thing that I like to do with heading 1, I'm going to edit that a little more because that's not exactly what I wanted, is we want to push the chapter heading at least 1/3 of the way down the page and then make it so it's not right on top of the paragraph. So I'm going to use this before and after spacing. So I'm going to just keep adding point to it until it is as far down as I want, which is probably there-ish. And then I want to put at least 1 to maybe 1.5 paragraph lines underneath that. So I will do maybe 12 point. How do I like that? 18 point. Okay. I like how that is. So then, obviously, I'm going to hit update heading. So every time I use that now, it'll have the same thing. Then if I don't want to do that, I can just manually edit this to get it back where I need it to be. Yeah. Actually, that could probably have this. Give it a little bit of space. We'll come back to that. I'm not too worried about the opening pages yet. We're just formatting this document. And then we're going to have to, we'll come back to headers and footers. Like there's a hefty number of things that you got to pay attention to. Freaking A, what is this? Okay. So we're going through all of the chapters now. Oh, look, it's already marked. So that's already been adjusted. That guy is marked as a no spacing. Oh my gosh, we're there. Yes, there were. Okay, so there are also text messages in this book. So I got to make sure that I manage the text messages how I want them to look as well. And so these are indented. I actually created I swear, it might just be list. Oh, that was not it. That was not it. And that might have been it. You know, I like how that looks right now, where exactly that is. So I'm gonna make the list paragraph match that. So then each of these I will hit up with a list paragraph. Also, since there are breaking paragraphs here, I'm gonna take this first paragraph and drop it back over, because every time we have these extra spaces, you're going to get rid of your first line indent. So now we kind of just go through the book, looking, those numbers look really big, looking for exactly what we need. List paragraph, that guy's good. You're good. We'll also get to extra pages here in a second, because there are a couple of rules with pages. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna wanna do is the header and footers. So this is a little big. We're gonna wanna take this from Times New Roman. I usually put this down to 9 and have some spacing above it so that it's not immediately underneath, you know, to give this a little bit of space. That all just depends on how much extra space you want. And then we got to check, the other thing that we want to make sure is checked. When you have this highlighted, you want different first page and different even odd pages, because these are the header and footer options, and we're going to need to get to the header and footer, and I'll explain what those need to look like in a second. So we need to, since first, second, or even and odd are both different, we need to go through and make these all look exactly the same. So we're going to have our 6-point Garamond, size 9 with 6-point spacing above. And then we're just gonna wanna go through. The way that I like to check footers is you do Control Print and it opens this print screen, and then you can just scroll through and look at the numbers along the bottom to make sure that they are catching where they're supposed to, that they're continuing to count up, and also that they don't move. Somebody is not right there. It's fine, it's fine. This is just a test document. Okay, so those we're gonna call are good. So the next thing that you wanna do is the header and footer. Now, if you go to your bookshelf and pick up any traditionally published books, you'll usually notice that on the chapter page, there is no header. And then on either the even or the odd page, you'll have the book title. And then on the opposite one, you'll have the author's title. So the way that I typically do it is author name goes on even and a book name goes on odd. So with this being side 3, and it says odd page over here, I'm gonna say plead more, body more in all caps. Bring that down to the same size as the footer. Make that Garamond, oops. Center that, and then add my dude there, and then this is gonna be Ian Kirkpatrick. Center that. Garamond 9, 6 on the bottom. Make sure it goes to the bottom and not the top. And so we should see these being at the same height on both sides. And again, we're gonna go to print view, and we should see them on the same spot on each side, not moving. And also with this being in print view, you will have the even numbers on the left and the odd numbers on the right. This is super helpful for checking once you're close to the end of your product. So a couple of other things that you're gonna wanna do inside of to get the print ready, and I already have this done, so I kinda don't wanna do it again, but a couple extra forms that you're gonna need, I'm gonna bring up an example, to prepare your book are going to be the copyright page, however you want it to exist. I'm gonna close those off. So you're gonna want your title page with whatever you need to put on your title page. For me, obviously, I've got the title, I've got my name, and then I've got the print company. Then the next page is going to be your copyright page, and then anything with your cover artist is all in there. Got a blank page. You can have your table of contents. And then this would be my prologue. And then my chapter 1. And so then when you go into print form, this is going to be on the right-hand page. This is because this is an odd number, number 1. And you scoot over. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. And so then we've got the copyright page showing on the odd side. You can put that on, I guess, whatever side you want. Usually I think it's on the even side. Table of contents are there. The prologue is on the odd number side. And then I have page 1 starting on chapter 1, not counting the prologue. And so one thing that is pretty typical with industry format, interior format, is chapters start on odd numbers. So what you're going to want to do is make sure that your books chapters are on an odd number, and if they're not on an odd number, then you're going to want to insert a section break so that it pushes it onto its own page. So I'm going to show you how to do that with the Plead More, Body More document that I just did. And another thing that is super helpful for this is, oh my goodness, what is wrong with this table of contents? Is the table of contents, which for some reason, this has them all just saying number 1. There we go. Because this, you can go down the list quickly and see if there are any odd numbers or even numbers that your chapters are on, and then just go straight to those and to drop a file in. So I'm going to show you how to insert a basic table of contents automatically. One of the good things about marking your chapters with a header 1 is that you can create an automated table of contents. So from this first page, I'm going to go to Layout, Breaks, Next Page, and so that creates a break that goes on to the next page, a section break, as it were. I think I'm going to create another one. We're going to say this is the copyright page, because I'm not going to fill in all that information for this. Sorry, I usually just copy paste that stuff in and edit it. So then this is going to be the table of contents. I might not even need that because we're going to go to References. I think I just did all of that without you guys seeing what I did. So short answer here is, in order to put your table of contents, you go to References, Table of Contents, Custom Table of Contents. This is where if you hit Modify, you can choose what your table of contents looks like when it's projected. You only usually have to use Table of Contents 1 for that header 1 line. And then you insert it here. And then whenever you right-click it, you can choose only to update the numbers to see them here on the side. Then if you want to go to a page that has like an even number, right-click or Control and then click it, you'll be brought right there. You check your page numbers. We got a 171 and a 172. So we'll insert in a page break here by clicking Layout, Breaks, Next Page, which drops our chapter 10 onto an odd number. And then we have to get rid of this number down here. So we get rid of Link to Previous, Link to Previous, Link to Previous. That should fix it because that's an even number. And then delete that. And we should have no problem. We can check it in print view. As you can see, looks beautiful, except again, I don't know why it's messing with me in this way that it's doing, but it is. So now that the entire document is formatted with how I want it to look, we got all of this, we got our contents, we got our chapter starting on page 7, apparently. Apparently I did do it that way in the end. We're gonna scroll through all of the pages. This is the quickest. Bro, what are you doing on an even number? This is the quickest way to double check that all of your layout is where you want it to be. So they're gonna go to 2. Oh my gosh, I don't know who was messing with this stuff. Somebody has cursed my computer today for some. See, look, that says 30. That says 31. But it's not. I'm gonna have to mess with that. Anyway. Anyway, so I'm not messing up, wasting time on trying to fix this. Of course, it's making me look like a dick when it was fine this entire time. So we've got this. I'm happy with the way that this looks. We're pretending and all of that noise. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to open Calibre. So Calibre is an EPUB production program. It also helps you create other forms of document. When I drop it in there, I just have to, so to get it in there, I just have to drag and drop it, and then it'll automatically add it to my library. Here I can change the metadata, or I can edit the book. So in order to edit the book, I have to turn it to an EPUB. So I'm gonna hit Convert Book, put in all of the information that I want, make sure it goes into the format that I want, and then hit OK. It's gonna do the job for me, and it's gonna tell me when it's done. Eventually, someday. If you look in here, you can also, you know, with my more completed books, you can see that they've got their cover arts in there. I don't have a cover art right now for Plead More, Body More. It's a little too early for that. But then you right click, hit Edit Book, and it will open basically what's a CSS sheet. Basically what's a CSS spreadsheet style thing. So if you look over here, we've got all of these indexed pages that are indexed at the page breaks that we inserted into Microsoft Word. So if I click into this, you'll see here's the title page, and we will have, let me get the actual title page. We will have what the coding looks like for the layout, and then the display preview on the side. So if I go, let's say section 4, here's chapter 2, and we've got the actual text and the formatting of it all, and then how it's gonna look coming out. So we're gonna edit this stuff to make it look like how we want on this side. And this uses a style sheet. So if you see these blocks right here where it says class block 15, if you actually click that, it'll take you to where it's at in the style sheet, and this is where you create your custom styles. Now, it's typically not that difficult, and you often don't have to really do that much. It depends on what type of stylization you want for your novel, and most of the time, what you do in Word will translate over. The only thing that you really need to double check are anything that's tabbed to be stylized across the page, because the tabbing will shift. But otherwise, most of your other stuff will transfer. Even your custom fonts will transfer over there, because as you can see, Bodymore has a custom font for the header, and it's there still. And then if you want to do anything special, like if you noticed with Boom, it had text boxes acting as old video players, and I'll pop that guy open for you as well with the finished product, because it's got some special layout that I had to mess with, but that's a little more than I want to get into today. You just have to know that in order to create more crazy things, let me move this up so you can see. There we go. Now you can see both sides of it. In order to do more crazy things with your ebook exterior, you're gonna have to learn some CSS and then mess with it. Okay, so now I've got this open. Let me ebook viewer. So as you can see over here with the ebook of Boom Boom Boom, I actually formatted text messages a little bit different, so they've got little text blurbs, and that takes more formatting inside of the CSS in order to make them appear correctly. It was kind of a pain in the butt to get it out eventually, and you got to make sure that you don't do it so far that it wraps around onto the next page when you're doing that sort of thing. But generally speaking, as long as you're not doing anything outrageous, you should be able to just drag and drop for the most part, and your formatting will be the same. And then as usual with ebooks of any kind, the ebook reader lets the reader customize their experience, so you really don't have to worry too much about doing anything with your ebook layout after you've already formatted it in Microsoft Word. Again, it's only if you put stuff in there that is like tab or formatted in a certain way, or if you're inserting pictures or text boxes or any sort of object. Then it gets a little bit more complicated, but that's a video for another time. This was just the basics of all of that, and in closing out, I'm going to bring up this completed. I think this is completed. Oh, it's not. But I'm gonna mention, obviously, okay, I'm having issues today. I am gonna mention in closing though, these last couple of things to keep in mind when you're working on your paperback layout. So number one is usually, traditionally, chapters start on the odd number. Your title page is on an odd number, your chapters will start on an odd number, and you'll wanna insert a blank page and get rid of the header, footer, page numbers on those. if they're completely blank. Then you're going to want to remember to do your copyright page, your acknowledgements page, your thank you pages, your author pages, any of those, and insert section breaks so they're not connected to any of the other pages that will have headers and footers, because usually you don't want those headers and footers. And then one thing that is typically added at the end of most books is either other books by this author or other books by this press, so that readers can know where to go if they want more content from either you or the publisher that you're working with. So those are all extra things that you'll add into your book near the end of production. I hope this video was helpful in learning how to do basic book layout in Microsoft Office. You don't need anything super expensive. Like I said, you can get pretty much any word processor that's like Microsoft Word, and you can format your book for free with literally no problems, or very few problems, except for obviously it's messing with me by moving my page numbers around. But it's more or less simple, and once you get the hang of it, it's super easy. And you can even create templates that contain your styles, so it's mostly just dropping your book into the same template that already exists and then marking paragraphs as either, first paragraph or header with the right styling, or indented paragraph. And it is super easy. You should never have a problem with this. That's the crash course. I hope it's helpful on your journey to formatting your book. Please let me know if you have any questions down in the comments below, and I will do my best to help answer them. Or if there's another area in this situation in which you might need more information about to format your book. Again, when you start involving pictures and objects and all of that, things sort of change a little bit and get way more annoying, but this is the basic for pros. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day, a great weekend, and maybe I'll see you around on one of the live streams. Don't die.
Was that Wayland Cross in the trunk? Do you know, or is that something that's still being figured out?
The person in the trunk was not Wayland Cross.
Is he in trouble?
We don't know who did it, but as the owner of the car, the longer he's missing, the worse it looks for him.
Cross isn't a killer.
For the last couple of years, the average number of murders in Baltimore has been over 300, and it's been going up. Mind you, that's only whatever the badges count as official murder, and believe me, there are people that don't count when they die.
Wayland? If you're down here, tell me. I'm not talking to the badges, I've been looking for you. They found a body in your trunk. Why? Did you do that?
To the left, plain black letters read along the wall,
You walked in the corridor.
once that ends.
You chose the dark is on the right.
My vision goes blurry, flickers black and black and black for longer intervals until I can't see anything at all.
I'm not screaming anymore, but my voice echoes back to me.
Where the hell am I?
You're dead, Josephine.
Even smart people do stupid shit sometimes, right?